Ready?
Yep. All right, Jesse, we're going to go through the pre-startup inspection, what we need to look for.
Okay. First of all, fuel tank, air cleaner, oil check. What we'll do is we'll go and check our air cleaner first. You want to make sure that it's free of any dirt and debris. The foam should look like this. You take this off. It's got a foam filter surrounded by a paper filter. Clean this foam off, wash it with soap and water and just a little bit of oil to wet it.
How often should that be done?
Daily.
Every day?
Every day.
Okay.
There was a
wing nut.
Stop. Where'd my little wing nut go? Stop. We'll go back over here to this. On the oil, it needs to be clean and full to this mark. Set the threaded cap back into the body, pull it out, and it should give you a proper reading. Daily.
What's dangerous? What level?
There's none.
There's none?
The oil level, there is too low. There is a low oil alert on it.
Okay.
But we don't want to run it that low. It does damage to the engine running.
So typically need oil every day?
Every day, need to check it. Any air-cooled engine uses oil.
What type of oil?
10W30.
Okay.
The other thing is the recoil, which is this mechanism. Before it is pulled, always be sure your pressure is backed all the way off on the hydraulic pump. That allows the pump to free spin and you're not pulling pump, motor, and all.
Which is the direction?
It would be counterclockwise is backed off. If it's screwed in all the way like so, you will find this very difficult to pull.
Yeah.
Okay? With it pressure backed out, three wheels.
Okay.
This is the hydraulic valve. It needs to be in the off position before starting.
That is the off position?
Yes.
Horizontal?
Yes.
Perfect. We have the filter, making sure it's clean. Wash it with water, oil, recoil, making sure the pressure is backed off.
When transporting these units, always make sure the fuel valve is in the off position, which is to the left. When ready to operate, cut the fuel valve on. This is the choke lever. When it's cold, you're going to have to choke it, get the engine running. This is your throttle speed. Set it about halfway, let the unit warm, and then remove your choke. But transporting, because the tank is here and the carburetor is here, if you're bouncing down the roads, this float in the carburetor will open, allowing fuel to go into the crankcase and flooding the engine. I'm making it not want to start or will not start.
And this is the throttle lever?
Yes, this is the throttle lever.
And all the way to the right is?
All the way this to your left is full power. This is idle.
Idle. Okay. Great.
Other pre-checks is your filter housing here. This has a 60 mesh filter in it, which allows entrapment of any particles big enough to plug your tip. Check that, clean it daily. If you see any rips or tears in the metal, replace the filter. A little grease around these threads and in this cap make removal very easy. And hand tight on the cap.
Yeah.
This is your prime valve. What this is allowing the pump to do is pick up material, run it through the pump, through the filter housing, back out, and back into the drum. When you close this valve, that allows the material to go directly to the pressure hose. When flushing the pump, this line cannot be forgotten.
Yep.
Because if you've wet it with material, it's got to be flushed out just like your gun and your hose.
Show them the other end of that.
Yes.
Yep.
And this is what the end of your prime line looks like. The bell is a deflector. When you dump the pressure out of the pump, this keeps the hose from jumping out of the bucket. And it should be cleaned daily. Look like that at the end of the day.
It didn't when you got it, right?
No, sir. This wet cup here is for your hoses to go into at the end of the day. If it's a standard suction hose, you can put your prime hose in there and hang it from the unit. On this particular model, we're using a feed pump. This feed pump is designed to take the material from the drum and feed it directly to the pressure side pump. Imperative that this pump be cleaned daily. Let's pause it. Okay, this transfer pump, apply your air hose at this fitting, turn the metering valve open until your pump starts feeding. You'll set your pressure once the pump has picked up material and you're getting material out your prime line on your large pump. As far as cleanup, this pump needs to be flushed with hot soapy water if it's water-based material, or if it's a solvent-based material, proper thinners need to be used.
In this case, this is a latex-based material, so
Waterborne that you're using, so hot soapy water is your best. Sometimes hot water's not available. Cold water can be used. It just takes longer to make sure it's clean. 15 gallons will usually do it.
okay.
Look over the machine daily. Be sure you don't have any hydraulic leaks. Be sure that everything is dry. If you see anything leaking, determine where your leak is coming from and repair is needed. This is your hydraulic reservoir here. Be sure it's up to the proper mark, which is full, which says max right here. Hydraulic AW32 or Graco hydraulic oil.
Right. And that is also daily.
Daily.
Now they should have all this on hand on the job site.
Yes.
All the oil,
Yes.
all the hydraulic fluid,
Yes.
all the flushing oil.
This area is for the Tsl oil. What that's designed for, if you're spraying outdoors, indoors, this is a oil that protects this rod surface. If you don't apply this, then any overspray that hits this rod will stick and be forced down through your top packings, and that creates premature wear on the rod surface and also your packings.
And this all had to be replaced
Yes,
just recently.
yes. These packings are adjustable. They come preset from the factory. As you see this cup, if you see discoloration in this cup, clean it, wipe it out, take a hammer and a punch and tighten this packing nut up just until you feel it seat. In other words, it will move. If it doesn't move, don't force it. But if it does move, just bring it around until it seats, and that will expand the packings out and prolong the life.
And what was the oil they needed for that?
It's called TSL, throat seal liquid.
Okay.
It's not a It's not a packing lubricant, it just protects the packings and it coats this rod.
Got it.
Because any overspray, it's like liquid sandpaper, and that's what tears your packings completely out. On your hoses, try not to pull by your hoses. This has spring guards on it to keep the stress off. Use the pump, pick the pump up, walk it around, put it in the drum, and be sure that your hoses are in line with no kink or drag down. On starting the unit, on-off switch here, flip to the on position. Again, be sure your pressure control is backed all the way off, which is counterclockwise until it stops. Choke the engine. Once that is started, allow the unit to warm up for a minute. This is your hydraulic activation. This is your switch for your hydraulics to cut the pump on. If you look here, I apply this switch. That allows my pump to come on. It's purging it out of the prime line there at that point. Right here. It's actually moving that material through the pump and out the prime line. When I get ready to spray, this is the lever I flip.
Low fuel. Low fuel?
Yeah.
You need some?
Yeah. And what I did at that last step was just cut my fuel off when I'm through with the pump. That way, if it's transported or moved, the fuel valve's already off.
Perfect.
And what I really
Show that one more time. You can see right there the fuel valve.
This fuel valve, it's a black valve. That's on, that's off.
Right.
To put this direct immersion kit back in the transport position, flip this lever, and drop it down, and it locks in place. You ready? If you're spraying today and you know you're going to be back and spray tomorrow morning, immerse your gun in a bucket of water with the tip and the guard. Preferably the tip removed. Clean your tip, clean your guard so that your gun is clean. This keeps the head of the gun wet, allowing you to come back and go back to work. Also on your prime tube, take the time to clean the outside of the tube, get any of the skim that's developed off. Put this also in a bucket of water. This seals this line, okay, to where air cannot get to it and it began to dry. With it in this spray position, that seals this entire line here, allowing no air to enter the chamber here. But this is the critical. This has to be immersed along with the gun. After you have finished spraying to clean up the pump for storage, what we will do, we'll wet the pump with hot soapy water if possible, regular water and soap if hot water's not available. Run enough through the pump that you get a nice clean water on your exit of the pump. Final step would be to suck approximately a half a gallon of the Procore flushing oil through that system, allowing it to circulate, wet that pump, and then cut the pump off. What that does, that properly stores that pump in an oil to where it lubricates your packings, keeps all your wetted parts from rust. Rust can start occurring in a very short time if air is allowed into the system.
When should we use the Procore flushing oil with this material?
At the end, when your application, either if we're spraying today, and we're not going to spray tomorrow, or 3 days from now, clean the pump. If we're coming back tomorrow morning after we finish today, go back to spray. Don't leave it. I would say definitely flush once a week if you're using this product. That keeps anything from building up in the pump.
Okay.
Another important key is securing this unit to a pallet for transport. With the direct immersion kit on it, it's very top heavy. Needs to be stabilized. A strap on the front of the unit to hold it to the pallet is critical. Also, blocking the back with some type of a 2x4, 2x6, whatever it takes. That keeps the tip back and forward out. And then when strapping in a truck, be sure you put 2 or more straps on it. What we're trying to do is protect our motor area and our pump head area from any damage.